Today we're going to be doing lesson 14 from module 3, where we're going to be using our adding and subtracting of fractions strategies, but now we're going to be dealing with multi-term problems, which means we're going to have more than two numbers. And what I like about today's lesson is we can start looking at some mental math strategies and start using logic to help us solve these problems. So let's look at 1a. I have four terms here. I have 1 3/4 plus 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/2. And when I look at these four terms, I notice I have two different denominators. I have fourths and I have halves. And what I can do is I can reorganize this problem and have the fourths next to each other and the halves next to each other. So then I can add those together without finding common denominators. And the reason I can do that is because I can reorganize an addition problem because of the commutative property. So I can do 1 3/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. So I just reorganize my numbers to put my fourths next to each other. Because when I combine 1 3/4 plus 1/4, I get 1 4/4, which really equals 2. And when I plus 1/2 plus 1/2, I'm going to get 1. So 2 plus 1 equals 3. So I didn't even have to do any common denominator, finding equivalent fraction style math. I was able to reorganize it and add it, which I love being able to do mental math. Now we can use the same strategy for B. 3 1/6 minus 3/4 plus 5/6. So we want to think about these as the minus 3/4 is together and the plus 5/6 is together. Because I'm starting with 3 1/6, that's what I'm starting with. I'm going to take away 3/4 and then I'm going to add 5/6. So I can add 5/6 before I take away 3/4. It's not going to affect my answer. So I can reorganize this and have my new problem be 3 1/6 plus 5/6 minus 3/4. As long as I keep my minus sign with my 3/4 and my plus sign with my 5/6, I can keep going. And now that I have my numbers with the common denominators together, then I can do it easier in my head. So 3 1/6 plus 5/6 is going to give me 3 6/6, which I know is equal to 4. So now I'm going to do 4 minus 3/4. Well, I learned yesterday how to borrow, so I can rethink this 4 as 3 4/4 minus 3/4, because 4 is the same thing as 3 4/4. So 3 4/4 minus 3/4 is going to give me 3 1/4 as my final answer. So we're able to reorganize our terms to make our math easier for us. Now I'm going to look at B. 9 5/6 plus 1 1/4 plus something is going to equal 14. So this is a 3-term problem, but now I have this mystery number. And to figure out that mystery number, I need to first figure out what these two are going to be equal to when I add them together. So I'm going to do 9 5/6 plus 1 1/4. Well, I need to rewrite this with common denominators. So 6 and 4 is going to give me a common denominator of 24, because 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 4 is 24, so 5 times 4 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24, so 1 times 6 is 6. So that gives me my new equation of 9 20 24ths plus 1 6 24ths. So 9 plus 1 is 10, 20 plus 6 is 26. So I get 10 26 24ths. I need to simplify this because 26 is bigger than 24. So when I do 26 divided by 24, I get 1 2 24ths. So this means I now have 10 plus 1 2 24ths, which equals 11 2 24ths. Now I can simplify this one more step because 2 and 24 share a common factor of 2. So I can divide each by 2 and I'm going to get 11 1/12. That means that in this problem, I have 11 and 1/12 plus mystery number equals 14. I'm going to erase this to give me a little more space, friends. So something plus 11 and 1/12 is going to give me 14. I know that I can think about this as a subtraction problem now, because it's going to be 14 minus 11 and 1/12 will give me my mystery number. So I want to do 14 minus 11 and 1/12. And I'm going to maybe do this on a number line if I'm feeling it. So I'm going to do 14 minus 11, which is going to give me 3. And then I'm going to take away 1/12. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'll make 3 there. So I'm going to take away 1/12. Boop. So I end up with 2 and 11 twelfths. So I can do it on a number line like that. I could also do it where I borrow. So I can turn 14 into 13 and 12 twelfths minus 11 and 1/12. So 12 twelfths minus 1/12 is going to give me 11 twelfths, and 13 minus 11 is going to give me 2. So both ways you're going to get that same answer of 2 and 11 twelfths. Okay, now let's look at our last one, which is going to be a word problem. Laura bought 8 3/10 yards of ribbon. She used 1 2/5 yards to tie a package and 2 1/3 yards to make a bow. Joe later gave her 4 3/5 of a yard of ribbon. How much ribbon does she have now? Okay, so this is a lot of numbers. I need to make sense of this. So Laura bought 8 3/10 yards of ribbon. She used 1 2/5 for a package, and she used 2 1/3 to make a bow. So I'm going to draw this out. So she started with 8 3/10. She used 1 2/5. She used 2 1/3. So this was the bow, and this is the package. I guess we don't know if she has extra. They didn't tell us. I'm not going to make it the end. Joe later gave her 3 3/5. So we're going to pretend she has extra. This is what we don't know. This is her leftover. And I know it's going to be extra because I know the package plus the bow, 1 plus 2 is only 3-ish. So it's going to be about 4 that she used. So she's going to have some amount left. And then we know that she was given an extra 4 3/5. She was given 4 3/5 from Joe. And we want to know what her new total is. So we want to know what this equals. What does she have now? So we need to find out what she has left from her crafts combined with what she got from Joe. So when we're thinking about this, we have a couple of options. We can do addition and add the package and the bow together and then subtract that from what she bought. Or you can do subtraction and you can do 8 3/10 minus 1 2/5. And then take that and then minus 2 1/3. It kind of depends on what you want to do. If you want to do multiple subtractions or if you want to do addition and then subtraction. So you can do like 8 3/10 minus 1 2/5 minus 2 1/3 plus 4 3/5. This is kind of like the big equation that we're doing here. Or you can rework it in different ways. But I know that this is kind of my equation that we're looking at here to figure out what the answer is. We're trying to figure out what this is. Looking at this, I do see some common denominators here. That might make it a little easier for us, but I say we don't even deal with that and we just solve it. Because with 4 digits, it's going to get tricky. So I'm going to add 1 2/5 plus 2 1/3 together. And then tell me how much she used. So that's going to give me 1 something 15ths plus 2 something 15ths. I'm saying 15ths because I have a 5 and a 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 5 is 5. So when I add those together, I'm going to get 3 11/15. This is how much she used. She used that amount of ribbon. So what she had left is going to be 8 3/10 minus 3 11/15. That's going to be how much she has left. Then I'm going to add that together with what Joe gave her. This is going to be a really big denominator because I'm looking at 10 and 15. You might at this point notice a smaller denominator that can be used, and you can go ahead and go with it. When you're thinking about a common denominator, you just want to make sure that both of your fractions go into that number. So if you think about multiples of 10 and multiples of 15, you might find something like 30 that they both go into. Because 10 times 3 is 30 and 15 times 2 is 30. So you don't have to use 10 times 15 because that's 150, which is a lot bigger than I want to do a fraction with. So I'm actually going to use 30 as my denominator. And the way I did that is because I can see that multiples of 10, so if I'm skip counting by 10, I have 10, 20, 30, 40, etc. If I'm skip counting by 15, I have 15, 30, 45, 60, etc. And you can see here that 30 is a shared multiple. So that means 30 can be an equivalent fraction because I can do 10 times 3 is 30, so 3 times 3 is 9. And I can do 15 times 2 is 30, and 11 times 2 is 22. So then, when I'm subtracting here, I cannot do 9 minus 22. I'm going to move it a little bit. I need more space. I can't do 9 minus 22, but I'm going to rewrite this vertically. 8 and 9 thirtieths minus 3 and 22 thirtieths. Okay, I can't do 9 minus 22, so I'm going to borrow from this 8, and it turns into a 7, and then I'm going to add 30 to my 9. So my 9 becomes a 39. 39 minus 22 I can do. That gives me 17 thirtieths. And 7 minus 3 is 4. So 4 and 17 thirtieths is what I get as her trying to get back to my tape. There it is. 17 and 4 and 17 thirtieths is what I get for what she has left over. But now I want to add it to my 4 and 3/5 because that's what Joe gave her. So now I want to think about this as 4 and 17 thirtieths plus 4 and 3/5, because now we have what was left over from her crafting plus what Joe gave her. And again, I'm going to make these into common denominator, so it's going to be 4 and something plus 4 and something. Again, I have really big fractions. I have a 30th and a 5. I really don't want to do 30 times 5. So what I'm going to do is find a common denominator here. And it looks like 5 can go into 30. And so I think my common denominator can stay 30. So 4 and 17/30 will stay the same. And then 5 times 6 is 30. So 3 times 6 is 18. So 4 and 17/30 plus 4 and 18/30 can be my final piece here. So I get 8 and 17 plus 18, 35/30, which I can then simplify as 9 and 5/30, which I can simplify one more time and say that equals 9 and 1/6. I think it's yards of fabric. I think the unit here is yards. It is. So it's yards. So 9 and 1/6 yards of fabric. That was a very complicated multi-step problem. But that's what we get when we're dealing with 4 numbers with big denominators. But we're able to do it by continuing to practice our basic strategies and skills. We can do very complex problems as long as we're following our patterns and our adding and subtraction of fraction rules.